I'm Mary McInnes-Meyer of Field of Yoga Project, and this is your Peak Flow Yoga Project conditioning sequence. This sequence is good to prepare you for Vasisthasana. We're also doing an awful lot of core work to make sure that we can build up to a press up Sirsasana I. So that pose then being a press up headstand with this arm configuration with a pike position through the body as we come up. So we'll be working towards that, and Vasisthasana then is the side plank in which we hold onto a leg, we open it up to the ceiling. Okay? So we'll do some work to help prepare our bodies for that. So first, take a moment in center, all right? So find a comfortable seat. And we'll just do the very quick and efficient centering practice of rest your awareness in the entire space occupied by your body. Now's a good time to set your intention for your practice. On an exhale, lower your chin. And inhale to raise your head and open your eyes. Okay, so you can use your playlist that is on your online content along with this, or just go along with the video without the tunes. The tunes are there for emotional motivation, as you know. Sometimes it can help us get through the more challenging stuff. So we'll start out in a plank posture. So plank, squeezing your ankles together. Let's go ahead and do some shoulder-only push-ups. So this is the first part of your conditioning sequence. On the inhale, you lower the chest, down the arm bones. On the exhale, push into the floor, hollow the chest up. Notice how the gaze is going to come forward on the inhale to help extend the thoracic spine, and then on the exhale, the gaze goes back between your hands so that you can flex that thoracic spine. So the inhale, you're going through the full range of motion. Inhale as you lower chest, exhale as you hollow out chest and raise it. So be conscious as you do this of where your hips are. There will be a tendency to check out and raise the hips a little bit too high. But if you are feeling any discomfort in your low back, then you do want to keep your hips a little bit high, because that is the safety position. If they get too low, you are much more likely to end up jamming into your lumbar vertebra. So you should be getting pretty warm by about this point. On your next exhale then, we're going to go right into a down dog. So with the chest lowered down the arm bones, lift from the hips. Step the feet slightly forward. You're pressing downward and forward through your hands. That action of downward forward will relay up to the hips as upward backward. So you want to get all the axial length in your spine that you possibly can here. And breathe. And then we're going to work through just some on the breath vinyasas, basic vinyasas. So inhale up to plank. You might want to step your feet back slightly. Exhale as you lower. Inhale to cobra. Slide the hands back. Exhale, down dog. And repeat. Inhale up to plank. Squeeze your feet together even in plank here. Exhale as you lower. Chest opens. Inhale, cobra. Roll the shoulders back. Exhale, down dog. Inhale up to plank. Exhale as you lower. Inhale, cobra. Maybe you're coming a little higher in your cobra now, and exhale right to the down dog. Inhale out to plank. Squeeze at the ankles. Chest is lowered, lower down, elbows point back. Inhale, press the elbows down, back, and in. Exhale to down dog. Inhale out to plank. Exhale to lower. Inhale, cobra. So the elbows are going back, downward, inward. Exhale, down dog. That's going to position your shoulders for you. Inhale out to plank. So be conscious of where your elbows are in space, and that will help to align the shoulders. Elbows reach back, downward and in towards the ribs. Exhale to down dog. Just one more of those. Inhale out to plank. Exhale to lower. Inhale to the cobra. And exhale to down dog. All right, take a few breaths. Feet are now hip width apart. Weight is falling evenly left and right on the hands. More weight at the front end of the hands to keep the wrist well supported through the working of the muscles of the hands. Let your heels drop. Let the hips lift up and back. And then we're just going to step it forward to the front of the mat. Uttanasana, forward fold. Let the head go so that the neck can release with some traction. Weight is now forward on the balls of your feet. And then we're going to lower it down. And we're going to rock it on back. So what happens here is boat lifts. So extend your legs out. We've been analyzing this whole boat lift thing a little bit, why some bodies have an easier time than others, and there's a lot of anatomy to it. So let's try to see how our body's working in. The inhale is to lower. When I get to about this point, I have to really tuck tailbone under and then exhale to raise, because otherwise I'll just kind of flop back. So I get to about this point, and then this kind of thing would start to happen if I didn't really tuck as I lower, okay? Exhale as you raise. So I've got my palms up, and I'm trying to drop the fronts of shoulders away from each other. And what this is going to do for you, it's going to make sure that you're only applying effort in the areas that you need to accomplish this. So don't put tension into areas of the body where it's not required, okay? So we lower on the inhale, and we exhale as we raise. Lowering on the inhale, squeeze the feet together, exhale as you raise it up. Inhale to lower, exhale to raise. Inhale to lower, exhale to raise. Couple more. Inhale to lower, exhale to raise. And one more. Exhale to raise. Okay? So now let's just rock it right back. Rock it forward, step it back to a down dog. Downward forward press with the hands, up and back with the hips. Okay, so let's switch into the lower body for a moment before we go back to the upper body to work a little bit more on other angles of our core. Okay, so we're going to come into a goddess squat. So I just kind of step my foot forward there. I'm going to find a nice wide stance that allows me to get low and keep the knees pointing out in the direction that my toes are pointing in. So if you find that your knees are hanging in like this, it means rotate your toes in so that you're not going to add strain to your knees. There's still an active feeling of pressing outward through your knees in this, okay? Let's go ahead now and take a break. Bend into the knees, point them over the toes. You're going to take one arm across your back, interlace the fingers, and try to pull that fist across your low back as far as you can go, okay? Put weight into your heels, keep the knees actively tracking out. Take an inhale, exhale, we're going to drop the shoulder down to the knee, go through center, and then raising up through the opposite side on the inhale. And reverse that. Exhale down, press the knees out. What you want here is the most stable lower body that you can possibly get. It's exhale down, and it's inhale up. Okay, so stable lower body means you probably have to do a lot of work in pressing into the opposite foot of the side that your torso is on. So I'm pressing hard into the foot on the opposite side to make sure that my knees aren't just shifting. All right. So we'll do one more rotation in each direction. Now here you can choose to straighten it up if you want. I choose to do so. Interlace your fingers differently. So if you have them folded this way, you're going to overlap the other knuckle, the other index finger, and the other thumb. Now pull the arms across the back, and you have your knuckles coming across the other side of your waist. And then bend deeply into the knee. Track the knees out. Take an inhale. On the exhale, we drop down. On the inhale, coming up the opposite side. Always pressing into the opposite foot. Exhale. exhale on the way down. Let yourself really drop through center. So what I mean by that is, don't hold tension, like don't try to hold yourself in any extension of your spine here like I just did. Instead, how vertical can you make this movement so that here you can let go completely of the spine and allow some traction to work on it, okay? So that when you're right in the center, it's kind of like this suspension moment where we don't have to do any work. We're not trying to move the body left or right, up or down. We get to fall a little bit here, feel the release of the spine, and then re-engage the muscles of your core and your back. Okay, so this is called, I refer to this as shadow yoga. It's a version of shadow yoga. You can look that up online. Now straighten up the legs, point your toes straight ahead, keep the hands interlaced behind you. Squash your palms together so it'll look like this as opposed to this, right? Not here, but here. And then take a big inhale, keep the squashed palms together, lift the chest, exhale to fold. Your toes are now straight ahead of the heels as you come into a forward bend. Take a few breaths. And now, change the interlace of your fingers. So lift up, and then interlace your fingers back to the way you started. Now you can let the wrists move away from each other for this variation. Wrists are moving away from each other, nice open chest, and fold, and breathe. So be very conscious now that the weight is coming forward on the balls of your feet. The spine is hanging, and this includes the neck. So if you have to shake your head a little bit, make sure it's letting go. All right, so moving back to the upper body now. Let's go ahead and place the hands, stepping back to down dog. All right, so now we're going to do a version of tipping planks. This is tipping plank done on the forearms. So some of you are familiar with the tipping planks that I do on the palms. Do those if you have any issues that don't allow you to rest on your forearms. Some of us have had issues like that in the past year. All right, so now squeeze your ankles together in forearm plank. And we're going to tip the hips 30 degrees at a time. So it starts by simply rotating one arm in. Let's rotate in your left arm, okay? Then you're going to touch, when you tip up your hip 30 degrees, you're going to touch the bottom shoulder. Then you're going to tip up the hips another 30 degrees, touch the top shoulder. Then you're going to stack, open up to the side. Notice how when I stacked, I put my feet on top of each other. But now I got to step the foot out as soon as I want to start that 30-degree tip. 30-degree more tip. Place this down. Turn that forearm forward. And then it's the opposite side. So we turn in with your right, and then we tip, touching the bottom shoulder, 30 degrees. 30 degrees more. Opening up, stacking. And then set the foot out, tip. Tip it a little bit more. Set the arm down, and the arm goes forward. All right, here we go. We're going to try to do this a little bit more quickly. So we're going to touch shoulder, shoulder, stack it, and then shoulder, shoulder, down. Forgot to rotate you in. Rotate your arm in, shoulder, shoulder, stack it, and then shoulder, shoulder, take it down. Arm goes straight out. Rotate your arm in. Shoulder, 30 degrees, 30 more, and 30, 30, place it down. Other arm goes out. Rotate this one in, 30, 30, open it up, 30 degrees, 30 degrees, place it down. Back to here. Rotate, 30, 30, 90, okay? 30 plus 30, back to neutral. Place the arm. Rotate the arm in. 30, 30, stack, and then reverse. I think we can do one more. Whoops. Turn your arm in. Maybe not. Maybe mentally we don't have it in us to do one more. Okay, rotate the arm out. Rotate in. 30 degrees, 30 degrees, stack it. 30 degrees, 30 degrees, place it. All right, finally, we get to go into dolphin pose. Turn your palms down, lift your hips up, walk your feet forward. So just like in down dog, there's an active pushing back. So that requires a pushing Set that foot down. Let the weight fall evenly into both feet, symmetrize. And then raise your left, lift it up, and breathe. All right, place that foot down. And then from here, we're simply going to take the knees down, take a child's pose, fully relaxing through the arms, forehead at rest. All right, so that completes that initial conditioning sequence segment. If you'd like to do more, continue on. Add some sun salutes at this point. Make sure that you do this at least once a week, if not more, so that it will work to complement what you're doing in class twice a week, okay?